the last bit of lights going down. Boats at the marina. I've been out for 2 nights. Just anchored out. I love doing that. Uh, Instead of a marina, I'll just anchor out, too exposed sometimes. Had a couple of kind of rough nights, but that's why you have a big anchor and chain. It's a 33-pound Bruce for a 28-foot sailboat, so that's always served me well. Sun's just going down over the hill, and there's just 1,000 things on a boat to fix, repair, keep up. You know, it's like any old thing. It's like the Dodge. It's just stuff gets old and it just needs maintenance, and you either do it yourself or you pay through the nose to have somebody else do it. With the Dodge, I'm about ready to have somebody else do it. But with the boat, I don't know. I've got a Yanmar manual, service manual, and that pretty much answers every question you'd ever want to ask. But it's fun. Costs are going up. The marina moorage is going up. Insurance has stayed pretty stable. Boatyard rates, I have to haul this. I just had the bottom cleaned, and it was kind of not so much barnacles so much as mussels. And oh my, it sails and motors so much better with a clean bottom. But that was $475. Here in Kingston, a 28-foot slip is $330 a month, $335 I think. So it all adds up. But I don't have any car payments. I don't have any motorcycle payments. I don't have a house payment. So I'm in a position where I can afford some of this stuff. The trick is the time. You have to do this stuff when you are young and vigorous. And I'm a little beyond that at this moment. Hauling up that 33-pound Bruce with 60 feet of chain, about as much as I can do. That's the Edmonds Kingston ferry. Smoking, what am I smoking in here? I don't even remember. I loaded this cob last week. I was going to smoke it, and then I didn't. Pretty light stuff, so I think it's probably that Daughters and Ryan Balkan. It's nice. But yeah, you've got to do stuff while you can. And for a lot of guys, I think it's, their family comes first, and so it should, right? I mean, uh, by what you give your time to, you are displaying your priorities. And so, uh, if you're doing meaningful stuff, then, that tells a tale. I personally really like my job. I seem to be unusual in that. um, but I do. I really like my job, and I always have. And so I've always gotten a lot more out of it than just a job. So that's probably another tale. But so I've spent quite a bit of time at my job. So I enjoy that. But once a moment has passed, it has passed, and so um, you're never going to get that moment back. So make it good. Make it have meaning. Make it do some good out there in the world. in the community, or I don't know. It's just, I think we just piss away our lives, frankly. So I've tried not to do that. Now, excuse me. After I got the boat back in here, uh, it occurred to me that what I have always tried to do is simply be aware in the moment. So uh, that sounds so stupidly simple, but really it's quite difficult to do. To really just simply be present in the moment and not be thinking about, oh, what have I got to do now? And, oh, why did I do that? Oh, beat yourself up over something in the past. Um, we rarely live in the moment. So I think that's one thing I like about the boat and motorcycling. I think there's a common thread that they're activities that kind of force you to be in the moment. So, yeah. I mean, that's all there is. That's all we got is the moment. What comes after all this is, um, your chosen interpretation. So, stretching out a little bit. Yeah. So there's just the moment. So make it good, and do things while you can, because I don't think we don't honor elders so much in our society, our Western societies. We kind of shove them to the side and forget about them, and the consequence of that is that we ourselves don't really think about what it'll be like to be older, because we're not really around that very much. So, yeah, it just, everything gets to be a little harder. Your body just doesn't bend and move the way it did. And yes, you can spend a lot of time at the gym and keep yourself all completely physically fit, and that's great if that's important to you. Um, I think it takes some real time to do, though. So, there's a little powerboat coming in.
First time I ever see anybody on that boat.
First time I've ever seen anybody on that boat is what he said. Yeah, I know. I spread myself pretty thin. But my dad was kind of like that too. I think he knew he was gonna have a shorter life, and so he spent a lot of time. Uh, he was a master of recreation, I would say. He took it seriously, and he was good at it. And lucky for us kids, he took us along oftentimes. My mom and he did a lot of traveling, and yeah, it was great. So I think I got some of that from him. But I think a problem is that a lot of people are just sort of wandering around. They don't know what they want to do, or what they should be doing, or what would be the best way to spend their lives. Um, we aren't really taught that, and in Western societies. So, yeah. So there's just a lot of wandering about aimlessly, And if that's what you have to do, that's what you have to do. Hopefully you come upon something that strikes you as worthy of your time and your life. So I was reading, I keep this on the boat, The Venturesome Voyages of Captain Voss. So in 1901, he bought this 50-year-old carved from a log Northwest cedar canoe. Decked it over, added ballast, put 3 little masts on, and sailed it around the world. I mean, it's a great book, and certainly a good nautical read. So there was a man who had something he needed to do. Well, we're about done with this pipe. It's getting kind of dark. I'm going to go and get a couple of jugs of diesel and top up the tanks here. And yeah, the work is never done on a boat. But yeah, it was sure nice to get out. 2 nights, and then you really kind of get into the spirit of it. Takes one night is kind of not enough. So yeah, beautiful evening. Smoke from Alberta. Thank you, Canadians, for your particulates. Makes for spectacular sunsets.